Hi everyone, this is Alyssa from Downtime Podcast. You are about to listen to the 114th episode, but I wanted to give first a disclaimer. This episode contains spoilers of Spider-Man Far From Home interspersed throughout the entire episode, as well as spoilers of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if you have not seen the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all, we're going to be talking about that. That being said, a lot of those movies have been out for years, so is it really a spoiler? Anyways, massive spoilers. Far From Home. Be careful. Alright, welcome to the 115th episode of Downtime Podcast. We are still in the summer. Still shining. Still very hot. How's it going, Jeremy?
Going well. Summer in San Francisco is still kind of cold, at least in the area that I live in. But for the most part, loving it. Went out for a little walk today. Yeah, it was cool. It was weird because it was kind of hot, but it was cloudy. I don't know how that works, but it was there.
San Francisco reasons.
Yeah, some things you just can't explain. But yeah, I'm doing good. Alyssa, how are you?
I've been in and out of sleep all day. It's been so hot that I've been sleeping.
I can't wait to do that later. I just want to sleep.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's not a bad thing to be doing, to be honest.
Just some fun things. I started watching. Actually, started watching is an understatement. I binged this Netflix German TV show called Dark.
Okay.
And it is the best television that I think I've seen all year.
Really? Please go into more detail. Do tell.
Now, this is going to be a terrible pitch. And the reason I say that is because this is one of those TV shows where I can't explain to you, I can't pitch well enough to you how good this show is because it's going to spoil everything.
Oh.
Like, I feel really antsy talking about it because it's just one of those. My pitch is, you're in a small town in Germany called Winden, and there is a mystery afoot that the town needs to solve, and 4 families who live in the town are solving the mystery together.
All right.
And that's all I can say, because everything else is a spoiler.
Okay. Is it kind of one of those like whodunit shows, or is it more of a... It
is a mystery. There's definitely mystery to it. And this part isn't a spoiler, but 2 of the main characters are cops and detectives. Well, if you want to swing it, there's technically 3. But I can't, but going beyond that is a spoiler. So there's 3 characters on this TV show who are detectives. So it does go in that realm.
I see.
It's so good. It's so good. It's a great thriller action drama.
Nice.
They have an English dub. They have a dub in a lot of languages, but I still think that watching the German with subs is the best, just because you get the emotion the best when you're watching someone act in their real voice.
100% agree with that. I'm all for watching everything in their original dubs.
Yep. And the main character, Lewis Hoffman, oh my god, he is so handsome. That is another reason to watch this show. He's so good looking. Anyways, that's all I have to say. It's a great show. Watch Dark. Watch Dark on Netflix.
You heard it here first. Watch Dark on Netflix.
Watch Dark on Netflix.
Nice. Very nice. What have I been watching? Nothing really. Oh, I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You've probably heard of the show.
Oh,
obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I think we talked about it on the podcast briefly, but
yeah.
I finished season 6. Love the show. Can't wait for season 7 to come out. Glad it's on NBC. Sad that it's only 18 or 19 episodes as opposed to the usual like 22 or 24 episodes in a TV season. But, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. I mean, that show got canceled and got brought back to life, so.
Yeah.
I'm sure anyone will take what they can get.
Exactly. So I've just finished season 6. I loved it. Man, I just love all the characters and the humor and all the different like Office / Parks and Rec actors coming together to like do several different episodes and play different characters.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool because like who is it? The guy Michael Schur?
Michael Schur.
Yeah, he co-created this show or produced it or something, but he's involved. So I mean, it just makes sense that, this show would be on NBC.
The Good Place is coming back in September or October, and it's going to be the last season. That's another great comedy to watch, and there's only 3 seasons, and each season only has about, on average, 10 episodes, and it is the easiest TV show to binge. It is easiest comedy to binge because each episode is only 30 minutes. 21 minutes, technically.
No, why is it ending?
Oh, it's a good reason why it's ending. It's because the writer had always intended it would end in about 4 to 5 seasons. They already had a plan.
Oh.
Going into the series.
Well, I mean, that's good.
Yeah. I'm always cool. I mean, like, it always sucks, but I'm always fine with a TV show ending if that's what had already been intended. And if the storyline had already been fleshed out.
That's what basically the creators, the Duffer Brothers of the Stranger Things series, they've said that they only want to do 4 or 5 episodes or seasons. Sorry,
I think that's a good decision on their part too, because they're running out of holidays.
Yeah, that, and they kind of have an overall story that they've already been planning, so it just makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
This Netflix show Dark is only going to be 3 seasons. So whatever season premieres next year is going to be the last season of it. So they already have a plan as well. It's a very non-American thing that a show has already been hashed out from the beginning.
Yeah.
Versus the American format is based off of renewal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Such is the TV world, I guess.
Yes, such is the TV world. But yeah, that's about it on my TV show suggestions.
So speaking of watching stuff, did you watch Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, I watched Spider-Man.
And
Tom Holland Spider-Man is like one of the best. I really loved Far From Home. Homecoming is still my favorite Spider-Man because I think Michael Keaton, just the whole plot twist with Michael Keaton and who the Vulture was one of the most shocking things that I'd seen live in a while. I thought the way that storyline played out was very cool, and I liked the way that the Vulture wasn't really a random villain in the universe. It was just someone that lived in the city and he was doing his own thing. It just so happened that the Vulture and Spider-Man crossed paths. But if they didn't cross paths, they may have never even went at each other. So I like that. I really like the way that Homecoming played out.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man iteration of the 3, and I think that the whole scene where Michael Keaton's talking to him in the car about she doesn't know, does she? And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And that whole talk they had was like, oh man, that was such a good scene. That's my favorite scene in the whole movie. It's just like
that was an excellent scene, and also Ned taking one for the team and telling the teacher that he was watching porn.
Yeah.
That was like that. The whole ending, honestly, was my favorite.
I love how it was framed as a question too. He's like, porn?
Porn?
What are you doing? What are you watching? Porn? He doesn't even know.
I know.
It was so good. I love that. Oh man. Overall, I thought Far From Home definitely was up there for me. I like that it continued the struggle of Peter Parker trying to understand how to be a superhero but also be a kid, and there were some moments in the movie.
I love how they're doing that with this iteration of Spider-Man. It's so charming.
Oh yeah, it feels different, and I like that. I think there's some scenes though where he was like, I just want to be a kid, you know. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Like they keep asking this one guy to do everything. Like there's a multitude of other heroes, but they had to come up, of course, weird excuses that why they couldn't be there, because it is a Spider-Man movie, and I understand. But still, like he's just like, I want to be a kid. They're like, well, you can't because you got to save the world.
I also enjoy that they're developing his friends cast too. How freaking Ned and Betty start dating. The whole PowerPoint presentation at the beginning was the funniest shit. Oh my god. At first when you hear Whitney Houston in the beginning, you're wondering what is going on right now.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's the Midtown High news production. It was so good.
Oh yeah. No, that whole beginning sequence was amazing. I just like, some people didn't get it. I started laughing immediately when I saw it because
I feel bad for people who didn't get it, because if
Yeah.
you ever had to make presentation, because the thing is that this current generation of presentations have really nice, have really nice technology and software, where you had Comic Sans back then.
Right.
And
Like they didn't understand the struggle, you know?
they didn't understand the struggle.
And I get it.
Coming on the cusp of technology.
Yeah.
They're already living in the technology.
Exactly. So when the whole slideshow thing came up, I was laughing so hard. And I don't know, like my friend and I were laughing so hard. I don't know if anyone else was laughing as well, but I was just like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. And they had the exposition of like what happened with like the quote unquote the blip.
Yes,
you know,
the whole basketball scene was hilarious. I love how they portrayed the snap, and I love how they dumbed it down to a blip because they're high schoolers and it's just like they don't understand anything.
Yeah.
And the whole band and basketball scene was so good.
It's just like they just appeared out of nowhere.
I know. I know. And what do you think about Michelle and Peter? Or MJ and Peter?
They're cute. Like I think they had really good chemistry on screen. The two actors had good chemistry on screen, but the characters themselves, I don't know. Like I feel like she is gonna be like thrown to the side in the next movie simply because of what I feel like the next movie is gonna be about. And
well, the thing that's frustrating is that we're not even going to get another Spider-Man movie in the next 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Marvel already, confirmed what they're going to be coming out with, and I'm just like, man. I think it's also because of the whole Sony thing, because I'm sure they're still trying to, negotiate what's going to happen, because I don't know if you heard, but Sony was like, if Far From Home doesn't make $1 billion, we're not going to let you guys make another one. And it's like, what?
What?
Yeah, that's
a thing?
Yeah, that's in the contract, apparently. And I'm like, that's messed up. That's a shitty deal, you know?
Holy crap, that's terrible. I hate that. I
I hate that.
I totally hate that.
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, right now it's sitting at 970 million, so they're almost there.
I think freaking that's a mistake if Sony pulls from that, especially because there's so much hype from Spider-Verse 2, Spider-Verse as well, and it's just like there's such a hype with Spider-Man. So, and obviously you're gonna make another Spider-Man video game, so why would you not allow Far From Home to thrive, this Tom Holland Spider-Man to thrive?
Yeah,
and you just had Homecoming 2 years ago. It was ridiculous.
I just want them to make another one. Like, maybe they will come out and be like, oh, we're actually gonna have Spider-Man, in 2021. It's like, what?
I know.
I don't know. We'll see. I just feel like it's not gonna happen.
My favorite thing about the Tom and Zendaya couple in Spider-Man is how fucking awkward they are. Like, it makes it really does feel like a high school couple, and I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, go first.
I love the contrast with Ned and Betty, and she's just like this really mature, adult sounding dude who gives all this advice, and he knows everything about relationships, and he's more of between he and Peter, he's more of the man, so as you would call it. So I thought that was really funny.
Ned is the man. Yeah. Oh my god. And I also really like how Aunt May and Happy are a thing too.
Yeah.
That's pretty adorable.
That was really cute when he was just, he was trying not to tell him, but it was really clear and obvious that what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Peter's like, Happy, why are you at my house? What are you doing here? Like, get out of here.
My theory is that Quentin Beck, or like Jake Gyllenhaal, the physical man, I think he is actually dead. But I think he's going to live on in the holograms because Mysterio, as was emphasized in Spider-Man, is a team.
Right.
And
yes.
That team's pretty damn intelligent, considering they got all the people who were fired by Tony Stark, which means that you're smart.
Yeah.
My theory is the guy himself is actually dead, but they've gotten so much info and holograms of Quentin Beck that it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
That basically they're still gonna bring back Jake Gyllenhaal. They're still gonna bring Mysterio back in these videos, but I don't think that the physical guy is dead. Or sorry, is alive. I don't think the physical guy is alive.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think he's dead, but we saw spoilers. Are we allowed to talk about spoilers?
Oh no, I'm putting a spoiler.
Right.
Oh, did you see my message?
I did.
You a message.
But I wanted to ask you all over the podcast so that people would listen.
Oh, okay.
I did see your message though.
Okay.
So spoilers. By the way, Alyssa will already add this in the beginning of the episode. But so the guy that was yelled at by Tony Stark's boss, Obadiah Stane, from the
bald one,
from the first Iron Man movie, that clip was from Iron Man 1, and that's the exact same actor. I swear. I looked him up on IMDb. It's the exact same dude. So that's kind of cool that Marvel got him to be playing the same exact character in a different movie.
It is pretty cool.
So we saw him take the USB thing, right? Or close the computer.
Yeah.
So they clearly have the technology. Everyone on the team but Mysterio is alive. Everyone but Quentin Beck is alive. So I agree with you that he'll come back in some shape or form.
Yes.
So it depends on how many Stark drones they can get, or how many were left over that they took, or if they make their own.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the next movie, who the next villains will be. But this is a really good villain so far. Everything about him just seems so perfect. And I mentioned this kind of on the podcast before, or I think it was on the Discord, where Mysterio is a showman. He's the whole point of him existing and being a villain was because he pretends to be something. He's acting. He's an actor, and
yes,
and that's what the whole point of him messing with Spider-Man was, and especially in this movie where you could use realistically this kind of technology on someone and they wouldn't know how to get out of it. So I thought that they portrayed Mysterio very well in this movie, and especially with Jake Gyllenhaal. He's such a fantastic actor. I think
Jake Gyllenhaal, actually.
Right. He portrayed it perfectly, and I think he did it extremely well.
Yeah,
too.
I would. So there's a lot of rumors of what the next villain is going to be on Spider-Man, and they brought up that there is a comic book series that has pretty much every single person that Spider-Man has put into jail. They team up to become a villain called the Sinister Six. Right. Sinister Six, or just a villain group. So you'll have the Vulture back, and then if you remember back in Homecoming, in the post credits, the Vulture is talking to someone with a scorpion tattoo, and that scorpion is actually someone in the Sinister Six as well.
Oh yeah, that guy. He's
yeah. It hasn't been visited ever since. So the rumor is that the next villain, now that people know Peter Parker's identity, is all these villains who figured out who he is and are coming at him as the Sinister Six.
I love it so much. I wonder how they're going to portray the Scorpion guy, because in the comics, or just different iterations of him, he looks like a scorpion, and he has a scorpion's tail and stuff. And if you look at if you look at Into the Spider-Verse, they had that same villain, and he had scorpion legs and the scorpion tail. So I don't know how they're going to portray him in the MCU if he ever comes back as one of the villains, but it'll be interesting to see. I
don't like that Peter got revealed in this movie.
I know. At the very end, like, there were two things that I thought were interesting at the end. One is that they cast the same actor that played Jonah Jameson and the other
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, and the other J.K. Simmons from the other Spider-Man movies, which was really cool, actually. Like, I was like, oh, that's a nice touch.
I love J.K. Simmons.
Oh, yeah, he's great. And he's like the perfect J. Jonah Jameson.
His performance in Whiplash is one of my favorite performances of movies in the 2010 era.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And that guy went on to direct La La Land. Crazy, right?
You're talking about the director of Whiplash and not J.K. Simmons,
yeah,
right?
Sorry, I should have clarified.
Okay, I just had to make sure because I was like, yes? Wait, what? Okay, cool.
Yeah, the director of that movie, Whiplash, went on to direct La La Land. So, yeah, and then the fact that they revealed Peter Parker's identity to the whole world, which was kind of weird.
The reason I don't like it is because we're not slated for another Spider-Man movie for at least minimum 3 years.
Right.
And in between that, there's not going to be another group movie. In fact, I don't even think they're doing group movies for a while. Well, sorry, Eternals doesn't count. I mean, like an Avengers type group where it's a ragtag team.
Yeah,
and
they haven't been announced yet, but they could be in the works.
They haven't been announced yet. Yeah. I think my issue with this in a storyline perspective is one thing I really like about Marvel comic universe, cinematic universe Spider-Man is time skips. I like how they just assume that the audience is smart and like you already know everything, so there's no point in explaining it. So like a few of the things would be like, we didn't get the Spider-Man origin story in Homecoming. Another one would be, we didn't have to see Peter and MJ fall for each other. You just assume that naturally they fell for each other because they're classmates, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like they skip a lot of time in between. So, but now with this, you have to take on where the movie stopped because it was such a crazy scene because you have to get the reactions of everyone. But then if we're not even gonna get one for a while, it's kind of like, well, like, does that mean the next movie's gonna be exactly where we pick off? Which I don't want. I don't like when movies do that, but there's a significant amount of like space in between.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, they have to like write in why it's that way.
Yeah.
Which I get, but I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, I think those are all my thoughts about Spider-Man, but I really liked Far From Home. It was a very entertaining and a very good movie.
Agreed. It was good. I really, really liked it, and it marked the end of Phase 3 in the MCU, and Phase 4, which we will go into next, is pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming out.
Yes. So, as we're recording, this is the weekend that Comic-Con just finished. Comic-Con finished today, and a lot of the Marvel press was released on Friday and Saturday, and a lot of things that are going to happen in the next 2 years.
All the things. Many of the things.
All the things. All the things. Marvel is pretty much set for... Imagine what's going to happen next year when they release what's going to come out in 2022.
Right.
Oh, man.
So they have a pretty crazy schedule.
It's kind of stacked. There's 4 movies a year.
Oh, my God, yeah.
No, sorry. There's like 3 movies a year and 2 TV shows a year.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's going to be crazy. I don't know how they're going to do it, but Kevin Feige, that man's a genius, and he did the Infinity Saga. Like, he did all of it. So, I mean, if he could do that, he could do this. I mean, the next phase of Marvel movies. So, what they announced was Black Widow is coming out May 1, 2020. It's going to take place right after Captain America Civil War. The Eternals is coming out November 6th, 2020.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to... I don't know when it's supposed to take place during.
What surprises me about the Eternals is if it's coming out next year, it means it's in the process of being filmed already. And I thought the cast was still being discussed, but rumors and things being leaked, but never confirmed.
Right. Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then they announced Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is coming out on February 12th, 2021. Which the 10
before that.
Yeah.
Oh.
The 10
Go first.
The 10 Rings was referenced in Iron Man 3 with one of the characters being the Mandarin. He's supposed to be the Mandarin, but it turned out he was just a fake. And the 10 rings were real. It's just that he was pretending to be them. Or the leader of them.
Yeah.
So we'll see who the actual Mandarin is, and I hope that.
Yeah, what are you doing, Bob Kingsley? Like, what are you even doing in Iron Man 3?
I know, right? He's like in prison now with Justin Hammer. But yeah. Well, so we'll see what this movie is about, and because I know nothing about Shang-Chi, but and about the Ten Rings, but I hope that this movie does well, and we'll see. It's kind of cool because it's mostly like an Asian American cast, and the director's also Asian American, so.
We're all about that life.
Oh yeah, just look at we just gotta look in the mirror, Lisa, and then be like, oh yeah, hey.
Hey.
And after that is Doctor Strange.
Oh, but before that, you actually forgot Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, the I was gonna go into the Disney Plus series later on.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Yeah. So after Shang-Chi, we got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on May 7th, 2021, and it's supposed to be a horror movie, more of an MCU horror movie is what they said. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was a fan of the first one, so we'll see how the second one does.
I really like the concepts that run through Doctor Strange with parallel universes.
Yeah, it was so cool.
And time.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I don't know how they're gonna do the time thing since the stone is gone, but I mean, it's not really gone. It's just in a different dimension, I guess. I don't know. They'll do something. So it is multiverse related, which is cool because they finally introduced that in Endgame. Thor: Love and Thunder is the last one that they announced. Technically, the second to last one they announced. And it's the fourth Thor movie, directed by Taika Waititi again, and it's gonna have Natalie Portman as female Thor, which I thought was pretty cool.
People are saying that Ragnarok is one of the first Marvel movies because Thor was going to end with Ragnarok.
Yes.
But being that Ragnarok was far and beyond the best Thor of all of them, it was just so popular that they decided to make another one.
Ragnarok's...
And also, on top of that, like, let's be real about Thor Ragnarok, like, it was legit AF.
It was good. No, I loved Thor Ragnarok.
That was a good movie. That was definitely the best Thor movie. Because who remembers number 2? I don't remember number 2.
Number 2 was nothing. Number 1 was kind of rocky. Number 2 was like, what the hell? And number 3 was like, this is the best Thor.
Number 1 was a typical origin story. So number 1 was totally fine as an origin story. Number 2 was just like, there's a reason why Endgame made fun of this one because like no one remembers what happens in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you jump to Ragnarok and you're like, bruh, this is so good.
Yeah, I love the font too for Ragnarok. Like it was kind of like an 80s like Outrun kind of, style.
Yep.
And Thor: Love and Thunder also has like a kind of like older like metal band looking font cover, if that's a word.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool. And then at the end of the panel, Kevin Feige brought out Mahershala Ali and announced that Blade, starring Mahershala Ali, is going to come out. And I was like, what? And it's going to be a movie in the MCU. So Blade/vampires are going to be a thing in the MCU.
So 2 shout-outs. First, shout-out to Simu Liu, who's going to be Shang-Chi in that movie. I watched the TV show Kim's Convenience, and he's really funny in Kim's Convenience. So it's really exciting to see people from that TV show break out. And also, Mahershala Ali is bae, and like, there's not much else. You got an excellent actor. He's so handsome, and just like, give me more of him.
He's gonna kick ass.
Give me more. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
I can't wait. It's gonna be cool seeing him in the MCU. I honestly like. There are some actors that you don't think would be in the MCU, and they end up being in the MCU, and you're like, wow, they're the perfect superhero.
Fun fact, if you didn't know, Jeremy, in Luke Cage on Netflix, I don't know if I have this right because I didn't watch Luke Cage, but Mahershala was one of the antagonists to Luke Cage in that TV show.
Correct. And that's still part of the MCU, and people were saying, like, how are they gonna reconcile this? Like, are they gonna show him? I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I don't know if that
Not Jeff Bridges. The freaking who was in Deadpool and who's Thanos? Is that Jeff Bridges?
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin's a thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah.
Also, in the Eternals, Brian Tyrell Henry, I think that's the actor name. He's also in Spider-Verse, and it's like whatever.
Yeah, I know, right?
All these actors are blending together.
Brian Tyree Henry is also in Atlanta.
Yes,
he's Paperboy.
Yes.
He's Paperboy in Atlanta.
Yep.
So cool.
Oh, and then another one. Michael B. Jordan was in the reboot of Fantastic Four, and now he's going to be, or now not going to be, and he was in Black Panther. So I ain't even mad.
Right. Yeah. Right. But it's kind of conflicting because Marshall Ali was in an MCU thing already, so they can't bring him back as the same character being a vampire, or maybe they can. I have no idea. I don't even know if they've acknowledged Luke Cage as being part of the MCU. They just said, "Oh, hey, these shows are set in the movie universe, but are the movies set in the show universe? I don't know."
It's part of this debate with the cancellation of those 4 TV shows because of Disney Plus, whether or not it's actually being brought back, or if those 4 shows are effectively done with. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, they're focusing on the other Disney Plus shows, which are The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, What If, and Hawkeye. So I don't know if they're going to focus on the other original 4 shows.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, these upcoming shows look kind of cool because, like, you got, like, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan returning.
Oh, I love those 2 also. They're wonderful. I love them. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but the Winter Soldier is actually my favorite Marvel movie of all time.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see those 2 people again. And their series is actually not going to be that many episodes, right? Or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's only going to be 6.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
I know.
Oh, and then yeah.
I was just gonna say it's gonna be a buddy cop movie, and it's gonna have some comedy in it because they had really good chemistry in Civil War, and I was like, oh,
they have wonderful chemistry.
Yeah.
When I was following the Winter Soldier way back, like in 2014, their interviews together are really funny. Like those 2 people, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, when they interview together, they're hilarious. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I love their chemistry, just off camera. Yes. Their chemistry seems really fun.
Yep.
And then WandaVision will have Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff again, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, I'm so excited for that one, just because we didn't really see a lot of those 2, and I'm down to know more about them.
Same. Yeah. It'll be kind of cool.
Yep. I'm glad that the Loki one addresses right after Loki escapes in Endgame.
Right.
I think, because that was a question that everyone had, but it's cool that the series is based off of the misadventures of Loki, pretty much.
Right.
After he leaves that scene.
Exactly. I want to see more of what he does because it's a different Loki in a different time.
Yes.
Different Loki, different time, different universe. So it's gonna be kind of cool.
Yep.
And then What If is it's a comic book series. It's like a cartoon that's gonna talk about like different MCU things and different MCU outcomes, and it's gonna star Jeffrey Wright.
Cool.
And then we got Hawkeye with Jeremy Renner, and he's gonna pass the mantle of Hawkeye onto someone else, some other character. So that's kind of cool.
Gotta love Jeremy Renner supporting our Northern California boys.
That's true. He's from like Modesto, right?
And he's a huge 49ers fan. Like huge fan. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all that happened at the Marvel panel that I want to talk about at least.
And it's all gonna happen in 2 years. I'm telling you, next year when they announce what's happening in 2022, it's like, oh god. I hope they announce Black Panther for 2022. I was expecting Black Panther to be out by like 21.
I know, right? Like, why?
I was really, really expecting that, and then, but obviously they have a plan. That being said, there are, who knows? There might be a lot of unannounced things on the horizon.
I mean,
and many secrets that they're hiding.
I mean, no one knew about Blade. Let's be honest, and I was shocked.
I didn't know about Blade, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was so shocked. I was like, Blade, what? But I'm happy. I'm happy. Like
Yes.
I want to see Blade in the MCU because that's pretty cool, especially Marshall Ali. Like, holy shit. Like, he's the perfect Blade to me right now.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
So, we'll see what happens next. It's going to be cool.
He's so beautiful.
He's so beautiful.
Yeah. He's such a talented actor, and he's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Marvel's going to be cool. Marvel's next few years are going to be awesome.
Oh, shout out to Marshall Ali, another Oakland boy, another Northern California Bay Area boy. So,
oh, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, shout out to our boys.
Our boys.
Yep.
I
think that's all I have to say about Marvel's panel on Comic-Con.
Cool. Sweet. So to kind of bring the mood down a little bit, and I'm sorry to do this, but
this is a really sad story.
Did you hear about the Kyoto Animation thing?
Yeah, so I saw a few articles posted on it, and then I read up about it. It's really sad. And also, I think what's crazy is there's not really a rhyme to the reason. We still don't know why this all happened.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, when was it? It was July 17th at
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, July 17th technically it was Thursday, Japan time, at 10:30 in the morning. A fire broke out at Kyoto Animation Studios. Kyoto Animation, for those that aren't aware, they're known for their like really film-like visuals and franchises like Sound Euphonium, Free, Iwatobi Swim Club, Violet Eve Garden. They did Free, correct.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
They
do Yuri on Ice then?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and a movie that came out 3 years ago called A Silent Voice, which I watched and I almost cried. Like, that movie is so sad and it was so moving. Everyone should go watch it, especially to support Kyoto Animation in a way. So a fire broke out, and 34 people died. 34 are in the hospital, and it was because...
So unfortunate.
Yeah, it was because there's this crazy guy. His name is Shinji Aoba, and he's 41 years old. He went to the building, started pouring gasoline on people, and in the building, on the ground, on the walls and stuff, and he was saying, like, you guys copied me, you guys ripped me off, and he was, like, disgruntled. He wasn't an employee. No one knows where he came from. As of this moment, he's still in the hospital. He's unconscious, and the police are waiting for him to wake up so that they can further talk to him. Yeah, and find out exactly what happened and why he did all this crazy stuff. But yeah, the reason why he was able to get into the building so easily is because the studio was expecting guests to come in, like outside guests, and so they left the doors unlocked, and so he walked in just as any other person, just started pouring gasoline everywhere.
So crazy.
The building was on fire for 5 hours. One, because he was using gasoline, and two, because there's paper everywhere, because it's an animation studio. It's a Japanese animation studio, and they use a lot of paper to like hand draw stuff. What's even more sad is that the head of the studio came out and said that they lost all their work, basically.
God, that's terrible.
Originals, backup, stuff like that. They lost it all, and it's really sad.
That.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. But at least they caught the guy. who committed the biggest massacre in post-war Japanese history. But yeah, there's different ways you can support Kyoto Animation. Sentai Filmworks, a studio based in Texas, they are taking donations to give to Kyoto Animation. Although I read that, or rather they announced that they're still trying to figure out a way to give the money to Kyoto Animation. So if you're trying to give back to them, I wouldn't give them money just yet, because there's no like secure way for them to give it to Kyoto Animation yet. And if there's no specific way, then you who knows what they're going to do with that money. Like, they raised over $1 million. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, on GoFundMe. So,
hopefully it's legit, because whenever there's tragedy, a lot of people like to take advantage of it and be unofficial organizations that end up taking the money.
Yeah, seriously, like, that would be terrible. I don't want them to do that, but
horrible.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't trust those like fund sites, because you could just like run away with the money, So
yeah,
I mean, it's happened so many times on Kickstarter.
Yeah, always on Kickstarter.
Right. But there's other ways you can support them. Local anime streaming company Crunchyroll. They're a San Francisco-based anime streaming company. They are taking up messages, so you can go to their website, and there's a big giant banner you can click on that says send your support message to Kyoto Animation. You can click on it, fill out a little anonymous form, and you can like attach art or photos, stuff that you want to give to Kyoto Animation, so they can give it to them. And
that's so sweet.
Yeah, support them. So it's kind of cool that there's different ways to support Kyoto Animation during this trying time for them. Yeah, it's just so sad. Like, I just feel really sad. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Kyoto Animation, but I really like the work that they put out. And like, it just sucks, because also they were a huge proprietor of like women in animation and women like drawing and making anime. I didn't know that. Yeah, so there were a lot of women at the studio who worked for Kyoto Animation, either perished or are still alive. And yeah, Kyoto Animation was a huge support of like women creating anime.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I think that obviously, while the situation's trying to be figured out, just sending over your good thoughts and your good spirits, eventually, when we figure out how we can help them rebuild with actual monetary things, then hopefully that comes up, and then we'll maybe post a link for everyone who wants to support.
Yeah, I'll post something on the anime chat that we have in Discord, so that people know.
Yep.
Sweet. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that to light. I'm sure some of you guys have heard, but yeah, it's just terrible.
Yep. Always got to support all the artists and in the entertainment industry that we love, and a lot of these people, they're making things that help inspire others. And it's just a shame to see and hear that someone's whole history has been burned down.
Yeah.
And that's such a shame. I really hope that the studio can rebuild from all of this, and that the families of everyone who's suffering right now, will find some solace.
Agreed, yeah. I just hope that everyone comes out of this okay in one way or another.
Yes.
Well, we're not going to end on that note. Let's end on a little bit of a lighter note, Alyssa.
Yes.
We got one question from PJ Sucks on our Discord. Thank you, PJ.
All right.
And he asks, favorite Keanu Reeves movie?
Favorite Keanu Reeves movie? Really random before I get into that. Did I tell you that I watched Toy Story 4?
No. And he's in that movie. I know that.
He's a biker in that movie.
Oh, how perfect, because he has his own motorcycle company. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I will eventually.
He's actually a Canadian biker as well. I'm not saying it to be funny. That his toy is a Canadian toy, and he makes a deal out of it.
Right.
And his previous owner, Rajon,
who
cool. is French Canadian, it sounds like.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to say that I watched that movie. That movie is like a fine standalone movie, but that movie's totally a cash grab. Like, when I was watching the whole movie, I was like, I don't know why this is necessary, aside from getting the generation that watched Toy Story to bring their kids and let the Toy Story franchise live on. I will say that this movie, the way that it ended, it can go in a few different routes, and you can easily have a way that there's going to be future Toy Story movies based off of one of the certain routes. But yeah, this is it was totally a cash grab movie. That being said, it was a very funny movie, and Key and Peele were excellent in that movie. They were my favorite characters of the movie.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer of them in it, and I was like,
hilarious. They're so funny.
They look adorable too. Their characters look so adorable.
I know. They're carnival stuffed animal toys.
Nice.
That being said, to answer your question, always be my maybe. I really liked what they did with Keanu Reeves in that movie. Like, that was really hilarious, his cameo. And I, as you know, I'm a huge fan of John Wick, the whole franchise. If they made 10 movies, I'm probably going to watch it. I don't care. But to answer the question, I think I might have to go with Speed. I think Speed is my favorite Keanu Reeves movie.
Oh, nice. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
I am also a huge fan of the John Wick franchise movies. I also like The Matrix a lot, but I'm going to have to go with Bill and Ted.
Ah, good one.
Yeah.
That's being rebooted too.
No, they're actually not rebooting it. They're just making a third movie.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
it's going to star Keanu and Alex Winter still.
For sure.
So, yeah, it's going to be cool. I like the time travel theme of Bill and Ted. That's kind of why I chose it.
Mm-hmm. In Speed, I like the concept that it's a action movie that takes place all in one location, and you have to do this one thing or else everyone's screwed. Like how you have to keep at the same speed.
Right.
I think in that time of the 90s, like having a concept of that as an action movie, I thought was very creative.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think it's still a pretty unique movie. But
very very unique.
Did you watch Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Nope.
Okay, well,
and I will not watch it.
We're not going to talk about that. Look it up if you're curious, but it's a stupid movie.
All right.
Anything else before I close this out, Alyssa?
Nope. That's it. Stay tuned for next week. We'll talk about video games next week.
Sweet. If you're listening and you want to send us a question or comment, you can go to our website, www.Downtime.Live, click on the contact button and send us, question, comment, stuff like that. If you want to send us something the old-fashioned way, you can contact us directly at contact@Downtime.Live. Send us an email with your question or comment, and we'll read it on the podcast. If you scroll down on the bottom left part of our website, click on the word community in the sentence join our community. That'll take you to a link to join our Discord, where we talk about everything from video games, movies, the Yakuza series, Stardew Valley, Marvel, anime, anything in general, stuff like that, life, I don't know. And yeah, you can talk with us directly, get live feedback, live comments, all that stuff. Ask us a question directly, and we can answer it either there or on the podcast. Go to iTunes/Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, and we'll read it on the podcast as well. We still have 5 stars, which is pretty sweet on our iTunes.
Hey.
Leave us a comment on YouTube or Podbean or wherever that you can leave us a comment on that our podcast exists, and we will read it.
Yes.
That's about it. Thank you, everyone.
That is about it.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the 114th episode of Downtime Podcast. Have a good night.
Peace.